We made it through security.
Of life, or if they land on those perches out there, they get some of their favorite treats for coming out here. That is called positive reinforcement training, and that's what helps us increase the likelihood that these behaviors will happen again and again, and we can do this show about 6 times a day. Now, these two flying over half a mile away as well, when they came in, they were pretty quiet, but let me tell you that these birds can be really noisy. And not just noisy, but they can also be destructive. We'll see if they want to show that off right over here. I have some pieces of wood, and if you can hear Raj here in the front, he's already chewing off some large, oh my god, nothing too, it's just chewing some larger pieces as well. Imagine this is the leg of your dining room table, or it's your Xbox, or your drywall. I mean, anything can become a macaw chew toy in a matter of seconds, which is why we definitely recommend that you enjoy birds like Raj and Hawking here at places like Disney's Animal Kingdom instead of bringing them into your home. Now, if you're just joining us, my name is Lizzie. We have Hawking and Raj, and the best has yet to come. We actually have more birds hopefully coming out to see all of you, so we want to make sure you guys have your phones and cameras ready to go, because in just a few moments we should be joined by a couple more animals. Now, this is just one of 8 species of parrot that we get to work with here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. We actually work with 8 of them, and one of those species is actually called the blue-throated macaw. Now, the reason I mentioned the blue-throated macaw in particular is because they're critically endangered. That means there's not a lot of them left in the wild. In fact, this sounds like a scary low number, but there's only fewer than 300 blue-throated macaws found in the wild today. That's it. And while that sounds really scary, it's not all bad news. We have partnered with an organization called the World Parrot Trust, and they're working on breeding and releasing blue-throated macaws into the wild in hopes that that population will meet up with the wild population and boost those numbers. Because while it's pretty cool just to see 2 macaws, wouldn't it be even cooler to see a sky full of macaws? Do you want to see that right here, right now, today? Well, it's as easy as looking up to the sky. To the sky for those blue-throated macaws. Looks like there's one right over the top of my head. That is Toulouse directly behind me. That's that blue-throated macaw that I was mentioning before. But we have lots of different species that are flying all around, like Margot, the military macaw. We even have another critically endangered species named Catalina. She's a great macaw right over there with Keegan. But as soon as these birds came in, you never really know when they might take off on their next adventure. And some of these birds might not even say to enjoy their snacks, but we hope you enjoyed your time here at Wind Encounters.
savannah, you may notice that there's an abundance of debris around here. This is a good indication of elephants who wander around in this area. They're famously known for knocking trees down to make more room for themselves and for other animals. As more trees are often knocked down, some of the more grazing animals do come out into the open and would often graze upon the open grasslands. This is a very natural process that could take several decades at a time. Coming up to our left-hand side though, if you look carefully underneath a little cave area here, you actually find some African wild dogs. These African wild dogs are Africa's most successful hunters. These guys often have an 80 to almost 85% success rate. This is because they actually know how to work together as a pack in order to bring down their prey. Because of their whole pack-like mentality, they do make sure the weakest among them is fed first. That way they become stronger in the later hunts. In other countries, the African wild dog is also known as the painted dog, based on the markings on their fur. These Nile hippos can weigh nearly 5,500 pounds. Theoretically, they can actually hold their breath underwater for almost 8 minutes at a time before resurfacing up in air. A group of hippos is commonly known as a bloat, and hundreds of miles for a nice good drink of water. We might be able to find a large animal nearby, but usually there tends to be herds of animals from all sorts of directions, which is likely what mostly attracted the bongos. To our left, you'll actually find a black rhino hugging the rock wall here. These black rhinos can weigh nearly 3,000 pounds. Their horns are actually made out of keratin. Keratin is actually the same stuff that's made out of your fingernails and hair. Unfortunately, for the black rhino, they are sadly critically endangered, with only around 5,000 of them left out in the wild. They did once populate the entire continent of Africa until they were almost poached to extinction. Thankfully, they're actually part of the species survival program, which is actually, as the name suggests, to ensure the survival of many endangered species. Like an elephant can usually consume up to nearly 300 pounds of food a day. They're also known to be able to drink up to nearly 50 gallons of water. This is roughly around 8 times more than what most average humans usually consume in around a week or two. little springbok up on the hill. Those springbok can leap from nearly 6 feet high up into the air and 13 feet forward. They can also move to speeds of nearly 40 miles an hour. Coming up,
you can see it right there, the lion nest out for today. An amazing sight for us just to witness and spot for today, alright? It looks like we're holding for an animal up in the middle of the road up here, further up though, but this is a great angle for us just to check out this lion in the meantime where we're holding. Sometimes the animal caretaker team will be out and they'll slowly move the animals out. So we're here, you see it? Bye lions. Alright, so the lions themselves, those two